Well, good morning, everybody. PJ, good morning. East Coast. Good morning, everybody. It's a Tuesday and didn't know who was going to be here and who wasn't. Just give me a minute. Now, finish up getting ready here. Okay, everybody. I think I've got it now. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty much set up here now. Almost like I know what I'm doing. Okay, so East Coast is here. TJ's here. Jonathan, good morning, Jonathan. Here comes Michael Thompson.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. I had a hell of a time. I got up at dawn, went and did a ship, and that was like 3 hours ago. And it took me three
Yeah.
hours to edit it because my program kept screwing up.
Yeah, I like to do that early in the morning, kind of sorts me out. Oh, a ship, you said. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. You had a ship early in the morning. Got you.
Yeah, ship.
Sorry, I did my idea trying to be funny. Yeah. Yeah. It's all good. You got it, you know?
Yeah, I did. I did, and it turned out fairly well. I was nobody down
Cool.
there, and it was just right at sunrise, and yeah, it was nice.
Super. That's nice. I like that sort of thing. The morning has a certain kind of romantic feel about it, doesn't it? Sometimes.
Well, you know, it gives me a purpose in life is what that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the best parts of the day, when I go camping and fishing, you know, I like those moments when I've woken up and had a bit of breakfast, and the kind of birds getting up, and you know,
Right.
it's nice. It feels unusual. Good morning, Mark. Mark does spy with his little eyes. TJ is here.
Right. Hello, Paul. Hello, Michael.
Hey, how you doing?
Reasonable.
Reasonable.
Hi, TJ. Dusty.
TJ, getting ready to go to
Jody,
work? Is that what
Jonathan.
you're up to? Is TJ heading for work or
Yeah, your mic's a bit quiet, Paul.
it is? Can you
Yeah.
hear me all right now?
No, a bit more.
It's okay for me. Maybe it's a bit quiet.
How's that? Better?
It's not
A
too
little bit more.
I had this issue the other day and it didn't seem to change much.
bad. It's okay.
Mhm.
What do you want? You got dinner sitting right over there. Breakfast. Go eat your breakfast.
Mm. Mhm. Oh, dear. You. Mhm.
Breakfast. Eat your breakfast.
Come back gate. Mm.
Somebody's barking.
Yeah.
Not me, I promise.
She looked at me, so I stroked her. So when I stopped stroking her, she started barking. Stop it now.
Just to make a change, I'm going to have some coffee this morning. Well, this afternoon.
I've got my cup of tea.
What have we got? We have Bremen style coffee. Smells nice.
You know, it doesn't make any difference. I don't believe between dogs, cats, other animals, male or female. It's a female thing. She just wants to drive me crazy.
Yeah.
She's indecisive. She doesn't know what she wants, and you're not paying attention to me. And
Yeah, that's the usual one.
yep. Hey Lance, how you doing?
Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, lads.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Paul.
Hey, I didn't know if you were gonna be in or not, because
Yeah,
you're still doing school, right?
I am, and I'm going to be handing out yearbooks this morning, so I'm not going to stay too long. I just wanted to pop in and give you an update on my Avata 2 and how poor it flies. But Joe's not here, so I can't really egg him on.
Yeah, yours is flying better than Joe's is.
He's probably talking to his insurance company.
Did he get it squared away yesterday or not?
I don't know. He wasn't specific. He just said that he found out that it is covered. And so I think he got it squared away, but I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I had an interesting flight yesterday. I flew my golf course, and it was just the whole drone was kind of acting a bit odd. It felt like it was drifting, and it also felt like I didn't have a lot of control. But I didn't lose any reception at all. But it bounced off the ground a little bit, not hard. As I was flying forward, it kind of bounced and came back up and kept going. And then I just flew it this morning, and flew that one ship that you guys saw, the little what was it called? The Lady Washington, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the one with the rigging.
And as soon as I took off, it said gimbal error or something. So I landed it immediately and kind of moved the gimbal around and turned it on, turned it off, turned it back on, took off, and I was fine. So it kind of acted up on me just a little bit. But after I did all of that, it was fine.
Perhaps you should do a gimbal calibration and a compass calibration.
Yeah, I think you're right.
When you pick it up, you twist it around and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
The DJI dance is what they call it.
Yeah, well, there's several steps they tell you to do, and I can't remember the last time I did a calibration because I was flying the same place, and I figured nothing changed. Oh, here comes Joe now.
Just rub it in as you have an Avata 2. You just rub it in.
So when I got my Phantom 3 many years ago, probably 2015, maybe 16, I would do a DJI dance every time I took off. And people were saying, no, you don't need to calibrate every time, but I had heard that you had to. And so I don't very often. In fact, I only do when they ask me to do so.
Yeah.
He comes on and he says, I've got the Avata 2, and he sticks the knife in and just grinds.
Hey, I had a bit of a mishap yesterday, but not as bad as yours. I would have flown through that tug. Okay.
Well, Johnny told me, he said it would look better if you'd have crashed in the tug.
Yeah.
Have you ever done an IMU calculation?
Good morning, Joe.
Joe, how did you make out with the insurance?
Well, I'm still waiting for them to call me back. If they don't call me by about 10 o'clock, I'm calling them this morning.
Okay.
Because it says they'll call you within 24 hours to go over it, and they didn't call me. But it's in, it's on my policy, and I've heard from everybody that's filed with them before, they don't even ask you for anything, they just take care of it, But I've got the flight records, I've got the show what happened, and I'm getting a lot of people, because like I said, I say it's pilot error, I do say it was my fault because I should have been paying attention completely, but I was paying attention. What happened is, the more I look at it, because I did a little short on it, and the more I look at it, I was paying attention. What I was looking at is when I came around that corner, I saw that boat. So I looked to see where that boat was, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to hit that boat. When I looked back up, the pole was there. And that pole blended in. And everybody, I've been getting a lot of comments that you didn't see that pole till you got right up on it.
Yeah. That's why I saw. It seemed to blend into the background very well.
I think that pole.
I need to go out there with a hacksaw and take care of it.
As you were flying towards that jetty, you couldn't
You'll be paying for a hospital visit.
Couldn't see that light on it at all.
The ironic part about it, we never fly over that area because we're always on the other end.
Whose dog is barking?
It's Mark's, but
Here's Mark.
on the mute button yet.
That's Justin trying to talk. He's got a sore throat. Yeah, I was listening to y'all the whole time, trying to get on. I was on, and as soon as it went to connect, it said host, stop the show or kill the show. That's what it said. Then I couldn't get on, and I had to go back and reboot.
Weird.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, your
But
Avada 2's taken for your computer.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I will admit I am having withdrawals.
Not me. Not me. I flew it today.
I've got my Avada all charged up. I got all my batteries charged up. Got all updates charged up. And I sat here and I said, not the same.
What's that noise, right?
Yeah. And the bad part, I could have one today, but I'm not spending all the money. I'll rather just get the one drone.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Get two of them.
No, I'm gonna get one and maybe one battery and still make $600. I'll pay the $600 down on the drone on the bill,
Yep. So does your policy cover all your drones at the same price, or do you have to do it individually?
I've got 3 different drones on there, and what they want is the receipts on how much they cost.
Yeah.
So I gave them the receipts on them. So each one's listed individually on the policy. It's $71.45 a year. That's what it costs. And
For each one or total?
for all 3 of them. And what it does, each one's got a certain price on it.
2 hash browns.
Yes, that's window.
So right now, the only one I would lose on would be the Mavic 3, because I could probably get a Mavic 3 drone and a battery for $1,700 somewhere. But it was $16.98 is what I paid for it. That came with the 2 batteries when I got it refurbished. So I want to see what they're going to say when I get the new one and I put the new one on.
There you go.
Thank you.
You second guess all of this because I keep thinking about it and saying, should I put the new one back on there or should I just get Care Refresh on it? Because the Care Refresh is relatively cheap. And I say, well, I'm over water a lot. But but you got to think, the only time I'm over water that I should worry about if something happened with a drone malfunctions, not me hitting something,
Yeah.
Because normally I'm not going to hit something.
Could you attach a bit of foam to it that would just give it positive buoyancy? Because you don't need it to float. All you need is just past positive buoyancy, and it will sit there on the top of water.
Right.
You can snatch it, and that might be that you could put a little wedge of foam behind the aerodynamic kind of surfaces, if you like. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter that much, but. You know what I mean?
Well, the only issue with that is that if it would have hit the water still, it was still salt water. So I would leave that drone back, but the salt water would have killed it.
See, with FPV drones, if you land in salt water, if you rinse it with clean water, you're usually okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the same could be said for camera drones, simply because they're surrounded in in a plastic kind of shroud, you know, and that just changed things.
Right.
How much footage did you lose?
2 flights.
Okay.
I lost the one. They're coming out this week. I lost the let me look at the names of them. I lost the one that says the flight before the death of my Avata. That was the one out on the riverfront flying around the boats. I did that, and then I went down, and then I got a quick flight at the mouth of the Tchefuncte River. Those 2. That was on my SD card, micro SD card. So I had the micro SD card and the goggles, so I used those and did those flights. They're going to be in 1080, but it's 1080, you know. And and I put little notes in there that, you know, sorry about the SD card footage, you know, SD card ground at sea with my Avata, you know. But I wanted those flights in it because they were pretty fun little flights, you know. So I added them to it. They come out the 15th and the 16th. So the 16th will be the last flight that I put up from that Avata.
I've got a feeling, Joe, that you may be able to mitigate the effects of water damage, water ingress, and this sort of thing.
Getting a
by
real
using-
big static with you.
Do you think you'd be able to coat the insides of the drone, that is to say the electronics, with conformal coating?
Michael, are you on
probably a way to-
dial-up?
No, I'm using 5G on my PC though. Is it bad?
I think you're on dial. I think you're on baud. 300 baud.
Okay, I'll give my listen. I'm going to put a little bit more coal in the 56K modem and see if I can get it to run a bit faster.
Give that hamster.
I'm
another
teasing you.
treat.
You're breaking up. Yeah,
You're getting a lot
you're
of
picking up
static.
like crazy.
Yeah, give that hamster another piece of candy.
It looks exhausted.
Yeah, it's just. But I look at that. I got to stop looking at that flight because I look at that flight and I think all the second chances. And then you know what? The one that really gets to me is when I look at it, because like I said, when I saw the pole, I tried to pull up. I may have pulled up into the pole where I might have missed that pole because the circle was on the left side of that pole. But I think what I did, I hit the left side of the drone anyway.
You should have the kid dive for it.
Well, I do.
I'm going to restart.
See,
I'm going to restart my gear. Sorry, see you in a minute.
okay. Like I said, when I went frame by frame on tomorrow, about second frame into it, you could see the front, like, you know, where the orange is on the gimbal guard.
Yeah.
One of them was out in front of the drone sideways. And in the next frame, it was straight up and down. So it had flown completely off. So it broke it off.
Okay.
So I had to hit the gimbal on it, you know?
You know, that's a time where you didn't have quote on takeoff.
Yeah.
You would have got a little more footage. You know what they need to do is they need to change that. They need to give you the option to say record on takeoff, and you manually stop it. I mean, there's got to be a couple more choices than what they're giving us.
Well, I do it on record on takeoff whenever I fly it over. As soon as they take off, it starts
I do
recording.
too. But
You know,
but I
can
wanted to
always
record,
edit it out.
I wanted to record on crash as well.
100% battery power. Status bar item.
Well, the one thing that gets me is that after the crash, it said motor starting. So it was trying to recover.
Green lock. Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Okay, guys. Hey, I'm at work. I need to get busy and set up for my yearbook distribution. You guys have a great day,
Hey, have a good one.
and we'll talk to you later.
I will fly the Avata today.
Cancel.
There you go. Fly the Avata. Bye now, guys.
Later.
Power.
Where's Mario? TJ's not on. Why? Where's TJ? Come on, TJ.
iPad shutting down.
No, you're not doing anything.
Okay, audio check. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Okay, thanks.
sounds better.
Good.
Jonathan says, no, you didn't. You ran smack into it. Yepper. I'm waiting for the Air 4, Jonathan. Air 4 will be out the end of the year.
The what?
Air
Air
4.
4?
Yeah, because he said save your money, upgrade, and get an Air 3. As long as I got a Mavic 3, I don't need an Air 3. So yeah, TJ, I'm just waiting for them to let me know when it's available. Because it's on order. But I've had about 6 comments come back saying they didn't even see the poll to the last minute, right before it hit.
I didn't.
And that was like me. And when I came around that corner, first thing I saw was that boat with that kid in it. So I looked at him and I just said, well, just keep going that way. And I looked up and there's the pole. And all I needed to do was be a foot either way and I'd have missed it.
Hmm. Not even that. You probably would have been all right if you'd bounced off it a little bit, but it was just direct, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tried to turn it the last minute, but it's too late. I was there. I agree, Jonathan. It's probably better with the 04, but Mavic 3 gives me everything I want right now. And it's a big solid drone, handles 35-mile-an-hour winds, everything. Love the battery time on it, 40 minutes. I can't do 2 batteries with an Air 3 because I can't figure enough stuff to do. I was talking to my daughter yesterday. She told me, she says, you feel okay? I said, what do you mean? She goes, I saw the video. I said, yeah, I'm all right. I said, because it happens to people. It's going to happen. And she said, I was talking to her and I was saying that I finally pulled that sewing machine out. And hold on. Hey, you see the house is still for sale. It's still sitting out there. They haven't dropped the price yet. That's good news. So he's not in a hurry to sell that damn thing. But I
You
told her
really
I
want to
finally
buy
took
that,
that.
don't you?
I really do. I really want that because you know what's good about it is that I can sit out there in my backyard and I've got 4.5 acres to fly any kind of drone around. You know, especially the FPVs. I could just go in and out the trees. I can go out there. I could actually probably make me a course out there where I could fly in between stuff. You know, and that's what I want to do because I'm at the point where I was thinking this morning, and I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna put a video up, and I'm gonna work on it. There it is. Yeah,
think
Justin and
it's,
them are gonna get hit with a little wave, tropical wave going their way. I knew it was
Wouldn't
going
you-
through.
Wouldn't you like to fly out a little FPV for doing that sort of thing around the garden?
But what do you mean by what?
You know, like if you bought a little FPV drone and raced it around some obstacles in the garden.
Yeah,
Would
that's
that
what I
be
was
better?
thinking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think the Avata would do what I don't want to do manual. I don't care about manual.
Yeah.
I'd rather have something that if I stop, it hovers, stays right there. I don't have to worry about hitting the floor. Then I
Right.
got to go walk and find it and all that other crap,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I was thinking it would be pretty cool, just to be able to even put a little obstacle course out there that I could fly through, because you could buy a set of the things and stick them out there,
Oh yeah.
and
could
then
buy
I
them
could
with
fly through
LEDs
these
in.
things. Yeah, and I
Imagine if
think
you had a little LED course, you could fly
Yeah.
it at night time.
I think that would be cool, especially on my property. It's dark out there.
Mm.
God darn it.
It's ideal.
I don't know if I could fly it, and I'd have to have a spotlight on the freaking drone to find things.
Imagine you and
I'd have to be
Johnny
looking
could
for them lights.
race around it.
Yeah, I definitely have to find them lights, with all the trees. But I was thinking this morning. I said, I was thinking of how my life changed in the last 2 years with these drones, because I'm starting to feel that little withdrawal not having that drone. Because that's the drone it's my go-to for the last 2 months. And I was thinking that I'm gonna have to sit down here and I'm gonna get the action out, and I'm gonna do a really good video. And I'm gonna have to say I'm a droneaholic,
Yeah, it is good
You know,
therapy.
this is we were talking about Tim and them with the obsession with the Fortnite. This is an obsession.
Yeah.
It's like, because I see the difference. Because I'm at the point now, like I was saying, this goes back to the house. I'm thinking Marine Corps come through for me, because I'm at the point where I'm at 50 years doing photography. I love doing photography. I got it next Saturday, the 22nd. And I don't know if it's both days. I think it's one day, the 22nd. But they're doing I think it's 2 days. It is 2 days. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's the 7-on-7 tournament over 16 teams over at Mandeville. So I got to go sit out in the sun for 2 days. And it's going to be in the 96s, 97 degrees. So I'm at the point where I'm going to have fun doing it, but I don't want to do it anymore. I'm at the point where I'm ready to stop. And it's the first year that it's really got to me like this. And I think it's because I've been having all this time off because the softball changed. And I didn't have the same amount of work that I was doing usually in that year, in the beginning of the year. So I've had a lot of free time, and I've been flying the drones and just enjoying myself. So now I want to be retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel right now. I want to be retired. I was telling my daughter, I said, yeah, this thing comes through. I got that long driveway at the house. I said, I'm gonna put a sign up there and call it Liliana Court. That'll be her street, make her a little street. And I said, I've already thought about making a big playroom area where I'll have an office in her area. She's over, and she could run the whole area. I don't have to worry about it. And everything will be a safety zone, And the older she gets, then she'll have her own room, have everything else.
Liliana's your granddaughter. Joe?
We just have to. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
So yeah, is Liliana your granddaughter?
Yeah, she is.
Right.
She's a little over a year. She was on FaceTime with me yesterday, and man, she was a whole conversation with me, and I could only understand about every third word. I told her, I said, I know what you're asking me. I said, you want me to give you some money, and she went, yep. She went, yep, like that. My daughter fell out, so she knows how to answer that. But my daughter will FaceTime me, and she'll get on there, and she'll look at me and she'll go, Papa, But it's like, and as soon as I see her, I say, "Come give me a big hug," and she'll come run over to me, put her arms around me, and go, you know. So it's like, that's my baby girl's baby girl.
That must be cool.
But it's-
I don't
That's
have
good
kids,
that you
so-
got that kind of relationship.
But my daughter called me yesterday, and she said, "I saw the video." She goes, "You all right?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "You still got that sewing machine, right?" I said, "How do you know? When you asking me that for?" She says, "Did you ever use it yet?" I said, "I actually did the other day." So I've had it for about 1.5 years, 2 years. I bought it because I'm actually still gonna do this because I've lost so much weight. I'm gonna go ahead and take up all my shorts because they're $50 shorts, Duluth Trading Company. And I'm gonna just go ahead and take in the 2 inches that I've lost. That way I don't have to go buy any more right now because they're good. I got like 6 pair brand new. And
I suppose what you got to do, you've just got to pleat them, haven't you? Kind of near the pockets, so that you can always undo them again. I guess you could unpick a pleat, couldn't you?
Well, I don't expect to gain that weight back because I've lost almost 60 pounds.
Yeah.
But my shirts, even my shirts that I use for press work, I've always bought a 3X because I wear a 2X because I wanted to be loose. But now it's like huge on me. I'm back into a 1X. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to do pleats down the side and take about 2 inches, 3 inches in on those. So they're going to fit me a little snugger now. You know, so I want to do all of that. And she said, "Well, I was asking you because if you weren't using it, I wanted to see if you give it to me." Because she wants to start making pajamas for her and the kids and for what you call it, Lily and everything. And I said, "No." I said, "Well, let me finish it with it first." So I've got it all. She said, "Well, where you even use it at?" I said, "I stuck it right in front of me on my desk. It's a little small machine." I said, "It worked right here." It even worked when I ran my finger through. When I reached down, I looked up, and I was picking up the foot, and I pressed it, and didn't realize I pressed it, and the thing came down, caught the side of my finger. The needle went right through the side of my finger, and just pulled the skin right off. So I got a little deal right there. It bit me. She goes, "Boy, you must have bled a lot." I said, "I actually didn't bleed. It just ripped the skin right there."
Is butter scratch.
I was lucky because that thing could have went right through my finger. But it caught me right on the nerve, boy. That area right there, so sensitive. But I learned how to sew from my grandmother. I used to sit there with my grandmother when she was sewing an old Singer machine where you had the foot pedal. And I used to watch her sew, and then my mom would sew. And then I told my mom, I said, "Well, show me how to do that." So she showed me. And I had a sewing machine all through the Marine Corps time because I take my patches and sew my patches on my uniforms. Anything I had. Whenever I get promoted, I take the other ones off and put the new ones on. I didn't pay anybody to do anything.
I thought patches were like a hand.
The chevron. Yeah, the rank chevron. Yeah, anything I had to sew on anything. And these are the ones I did. These are the ones I did the other day.
With the machine?
Yeah, with the machine.
I don't understand how that would work.
I did that one and I did that one to go on the vest. This is the vest I've got when I'm out around the area. It's like what you call it, yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea. It's like an anti-carom vest as well.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And then the best part about it is when I'm out there, I'll show you, because my credentials, I have a badge, right? Like that on my credentials, and it sits right in the pocket. So you see the badge too. So I don't have anybody bother with me. And I don't use it, I only use it when I go somewhere like it's class B, or where I've got to have like extra authorizations to be there. That's when I'll use it that way. No, I look more official, you know. I try to look like Dre, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Without the shirt and tie.
Was Jonathan Jackson put in the chat about he lost one yesterday? Did he, or is he talking about you?
He lost the
What
battery
about
yesterday.
battery?
Oh,
Yeah, he said he thinks he put it on top of the car when he drove off and he forgot it on top of the car.
oh. Well, that's kind of like what's his name?
Welsh Rob.
Yeah, Welsh Rob left that
Yeah.
expensive video camera on a tripod and drove away.
I did that with a wallet once. I was going to Germany the following day. I had a wallet full of cash. It was 700 and something odd quid. And I left it on top of the car as I filled up fuel. And then I drove off. And it got returned. Someone returned it with the money. So I was super lucky.
Well,
Also,
I think I could be wrong, but didn't he say it was the tripod and the camera were valued at about $3,000?
Yeah, I think he did.
And what he did, Michael, is he had it set up, and he got back in the van and drove away, and forgot about it, and then went back, and of course by then it's gone.
Sure. Yeah, no, I heard about that.
Yeah, I was talking to who was it yesterday? Drone Guy 42 Angel. And we were I was on Jackrabbit last night for a couple of minutes. He came on and I jumped on there right at the end, and we were talking about the Avadas and Avata 2s and everything, and he still flies the Avata 1. And he was saying, yeah, he said he likes the durability of it, and he bought it's a piece of carbon fiber, like a frame that screws into the bottom of the frame for the bumpers. And what it does is screws in, covers all the bumpers, and then on the top part of the bumper, it has an area that you can put. It's like the TPU type bumper guard that sticks on there, and once you get it on there, you're not getting it off. He said, and he said he's planted that Avata original into stuff really fast, and he said that carbon fiber handles the shock. And
Really?
he said I said, yeah, I said that's a good idea. I said, because I've never flown the Avata with bumper guards on it until I got the bumper guards I made for the Avata 2, just because it looked like it's not as durable. And he said, yeah, they're on Amazon. So I pulled them up on Amazon. I said, well, they're only for like $15. He goes, no, they're supposed to be $30. And I looked at him. I said, well, they're on sale. And I bought one for the Avata, the one this one right here. This one. I bought one for this Avata because what I'm going to do is when I get it in, I'm going to put it on the bottom. And that way I'll have a little more support on that one. But I'm still going to try to sell that other one I have.
Does it restrict that when that you put it on the bottom? Does that restrict the airflow at all?
Nothing. He says it doesn't make a difference. And he's actually told me, he said, and get rid of the master air screw props. He said, go to Gym Fan. The 5 props, he said, you're going to be shocked on the difference of the flight. He said, it's back to 5 props. He said, but it's a Gym Fan props. He said, and it's not even loud anymore. And they had 3 sets of props on it for $18. I haven't changed on the props yet. I'm not worried about that. But I'm gonna get that thing and look at it, and if I decide to keep it, it was like $15. And if it gives me a little extra support on touching something.
The thing is with the Avata 1, the disc loading is quite heavy, even compared to some FPV stuff.
Yeah, this is heavy.
It is a great quad. And the thing is, when you've got more blades on a propeller, you've got less on the hub. You've got less meat on the hub. 3 is good. I like that.
I like
Avata, that Avata, the original Avata is heavier than the Avata 2.
Oh, a lot. It's like 780 something grams to 400 something grams.
Oh wow!
That's why it's noisy.
Almost twice the weight. That's because of the battery. It's this thing right here. Look at this battery. because of this battery right here.
Holy crap.
Yeah, this thing's nothing. But that's the battery, and you got to have, when you push it in, you got to have one of these on here to go behind it, because once it, if it hits anything, that battery jumps out.
I wrote a technical essay on it once about converging and contributory technical issues with the thing, and I like it. I think it's a great drone, but I think that when you have so many little issues that aren't quite right, they can conspire together to cause other issues which are a little bit more complex.
Oh,
You know,
no.
Right.
and that's when they start dropping out of the sky and stuff.
Well, this
Morning,
one,
Donald.
well, when they were dropping out the sky at first, and nobody put this together, and I was writing down everybody it happened to, and then I was putting down how it happened, and everybody said that they were flying in normal mode, and while they were flying, switched it to sport mode.
Yeah.
And what was happening, and I'm gonna tell you, those blades, the original blades, they were real pliable. They gave you a lot of gap. When they'd spin them, they start moving, and you got such a little bitty gap in between the prop guards to the props. The props were hitting that prop guard. They were moving just enough out to hit that prop guard in certain areas. Because when I put it in sport mode, I was getting a line on the inside where you could see somehow it was expanding out that way. So, but I never did it. I never did it while I was flying full, because it would happen where somebody would be full in normal mode and flip it to sport mode. So they go from 17 to 30 miles an hour right there. And what was happening is it would catch on something and it would shred apart.
Hey, Joe, in general, is the flight time very similar between the Avatas?
No, you got about 17 minutes to about 23 minutes.
So the Avata 2 flies longer?
Yeah, you got about 23 minutes. Like I used to go out. The way I was flying this thing is I kept it as a center whoop. That's what I kept it as. I'd go out and fly and do a little, like a one shot, a little 5 minutes worth of film at the most, bring it back, land it. Then I'd go somewhere else, do another little 5 minute, come back and land it. Then I could go somewhere else, do another little 5 minute, come back and land it. So I've got 15 minutes of flight time and I'm still at 40%. So I never flew it the whole time. You know, if I flew it like the whole battery, I was only getting about 14 to 17 minutes, depending on how I flew it. But if I would go and do one little, like go up the bayou and then come back, when I hit about 2.5 minutes, bring it back. So I knew I was about 5 minutes each time. I was getting 3 flights on the battery and still having 40%. I didn't have to worry about it telling me I needed to come home or nothing. So that's the sequence or the pattern I got that one in. This one here, I fly 2 flights with it. And the last flight, I got to pay attention because it's going to tell me returning to home. So you might get 2 flights out of it. Because it uses, I mean, it's heavier, a lot heavier. And you could feel it when you're in if you're making like a bank, making a left turn bank, it feels it, especially if you have the sun in the right direction where you can see the shadow of it. It looks like a bus. The way it feels like a bus going around a corner. But I like the way it flies. It's very solid, you know. But I don't know. I'm trying not to have withdrawals right now with it. It's like I feel like an alcoholic that they won't give me a beer. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm a droneaholic.
Morning, Donald.
Good morning.
Anything on that job yet?
Oh no, I won't hear anything back from them until around the 17th.
So we got you for about another week then, huh?
Well, maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
the job you applied for, does that, is it something you gonna feel comfortable with if you get it?
I don't know.
Or is it's something new for you, right?
Parts of it are new, yeah.
Okay.
A large part of it. Most of it's new.
So basically, it's just a job that'll bring money in.
Well, yeah. That's every job, isn't it?
Yep, you got a point.
Well, some jobs you actually enjoy doing and want to do. Others are just a job.
I'm a big fan of what's his name? Micro from the Dirty Jobs show.
Mm-hmm.
He says you don't look for passion from your job. You take your passion with you whether you're at the job or you're not at the job. Your passion belongs to you.
Yep.
So in other words, you make the job doesn't make you.
I don't look for a job to fulfill me.
Yeah.
You got a point. Because when I was a manager at Pizza Hut, the GM, I went in there and I'll be honest with you, I started to really hate the job because of the hours and everything. But I used my personality, got up in there, and I made the job fun.
Yeah, trust me, I've had those jobs that and I worked at Pizza Hut for a long time. I was a manager of one.
Yep.
And it becomes stressful, especially if you lose a good crew.
I hired at my Pizza Hut here. When I walked in, I got in right after they opened. There was a crew of I think it was 17 people. I got right on the job board and hired 2 more. And I had it up to 19. And then I had it up to 20. And my area coach said, "How many are you going to hire? Because you got to watch your money." I said, "I'm still spending the same money. I'm just changing hours around." Instead of them working 6 hours, they don't want high school kids anyway. They didn't want to work 6 hours. They want to work 4 hours. So I said, so now they're working 4 hours, and I got another guy could come in and work 4 hours, and I make sure I've got a good crew so that I only need 2 instead of 3. And she said, "Well, that's a point. Like that is a point." So at one point in time, I had 27 people.
Yep, as long as they don't want a lot of hours.
Yeah, the people that had the hours were the cooks and the drivers. Everybody else that came in wanted a little 3-4 hour shift.
Yeah, they want to come in and they only want to work the rush. And they want to leave right after rush so they don't have to do any side work.
Yep. Yeah. And I tell you ought to see me with the drivers. The drivers knew because I was up front on the rush or during the Friday nights and the rush nights. I'd be up front. And I used to say, if you come up in and you do not have an order to take out, you better be washing the dish. If you don't walk in the back and start washing them dishes in the back, you just walk out, go home. And if I tell you, I'll give you one chance. And they used to look at me and say, "Man, you're mean." I said, "No, I'm not. You're not here to stand here while everybody else is doing a rush." I said, "That's the way it's going to work." I said, "I don't care what your job is." I said, "If a cook doesn't have a pizza to make, she turns around and walks back there and starts washing dishes." And that's the way. And if it got out of hand, I'd go in the back and wash dishes. You know, and I used to do that. So they already knew. And like I said, I had one guy that Stephen Poche. This guy, we wound up firing. He quit on us. Just walked out on us. And he came back a few months later. He said, "Can I have my job back?" And I said, "You're a good worker." I said, "You're trained in everything here." I said, "I'm gonna bring you back, but screw up 1 second." And my area coach said, "Why did you bring him back?" I said, "Because he could do everything." and I
Good.
don't have to train anybody. We already have him. But you know he's going to mess up. I said, and then he's fired. But at least I'll have him for a short time, and he'll cover something. So he came in one night, and it was a combination. It was my fault and his fault. His grandmother was in the hospital. She got rushed to the hospital, and he was a driver, the early driver that night. And he calls me at the last minute and told me, and I said, okay. I said, I can't get a driver. I said, what's going on with her? Well, she's stable. Everything's fine. They think she's got a stomach virus and all of this, but they're going to keep her here for a while. I said, well, I need you to do me a favor. She's all right? Nothing's really serious, right? He says, no, we don't think so. I said, okay, do me a favor. If you could just come in for the first hour till the next driver comes in, then just get out of here, just to cover the first couple of runs. Okay, I'll do that. So he came in, and when he came in, he said something to the cook in the back about, can't believe he made me come in like that, right? and Tina looked over at me, and Tina knew the story. Tina was like my right and left hand woman, there. She looked at me and she said, "You're gonna have problems with him." I said, "No, I won't." Like that. And he took the first run out, came back, walked to the back, washed the dish. And I said, another one's coming out, Steve, go ahead and take it. He took it and he took off. He comes back, and the other driver's about 5 minutes out, coming out, about 10 minutes out, coming out still. So we still had and I had nothing going out. He comes back, and I look over, and we got a rush starting now. And he's over by Wing Street, leaning on Wing Street on his phone. And I said, "Steve, what you doing?" He said, "I'm checking on my grandmother." I said, "Okay, hurry up and go wash some dishes for a couple of minutes, and I'll let you go." And he says, "Well, there's no dishes back there." I said, "Yes, there is. There's a couple back there. Just go run that one wash." He looks at me and he goes, "Can't believe you still made me come in." He said, "We got the rush going. We got 2 or 3 customers that are in the front of the store, but I'm to the back of the store with them." And I said, "It's not the place to tell me that. Just stop. I'll talk to you later about it if you want me to talk to you." And he says, "Shoot, the way you acted, I might as well quit." I looked at him and said, "Well, why wait?" Just like that, though. I said, "Why wait?" And he looked at me, walked to the back, got his stuff, threw the shirts and everything on the ground by me, and walked out. I walked over to the computer. I typed in, I said, "Fire, job abandonment." Just like that. He cannot be hired anymore. Hit it in, job abandonment. Everybody is turning around looking at me, right? All employees. I turned around and said, "Who's next?" Like that. They all turned around, went back to work. And Tina came up to me later. She goes, "Damn." She goes, she says, "That was the Marine." I said, "That was the Marine." I said, "Who's next?" And my area coach calls me and she said, "How long?" It was that 3 weeks. I said, "Yeah, it was 3 weeks." And I told her what happened. And the ironic part about it, he threw his apron down and everything. And I got his apron, and I'm bringing it back there. Later on that night. I had it all stuck to the side, and I'm going to throw it in all the stuff I'm going to take it and wash it and get it all washed and everything, because I knew he had it out with the stuff. I get it home, like $15 falls out of it. He didn't forgot to take his money and everything. I brought it back, put it in an envelope, put his name on it, stuck it in the safe. A month later, he didn't come back to get it, so I just kept it. Put it in the tip jar.
There you go.
But Tina looked at me and she said, "When you turned around and looked at us and said, 'Who's next?' She said, 'Well, I wasn't saying nothing to you for a while.'" I said, "You're right. Good. I said, "You made a wise decision." But he was out the door 3 steps when I put in job abandonment in the computer. Means he cannot be rehired through Yum Corporation error. But I was the nicest guy in the world. I mean, I was nice to you. You just do your job. Because I wasn't there to be your friend. You were there to make money. And that's what you came in for, and you're there to do a service. You want me to pay you, do your job.
I mean, personnel management and whatnot is not easy. It really is.
No, and that's the thing is, being a manager, And I was overnight manager at Walmart for a while too, and it's one of those things you have to be. The best way that I ever got described, and I took it as the biggest compliment, is that I was friendly with everybody, but I wasn't anybody's friend.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I was just about to tell you that.
I think it's almost exclusively a matter of good communication, and that's it. There isn't much else to it. I think if, providing they know what you expect of them and vice versa, you can leave everything else out. And in fact, you know, when it comes to people having other stuff going on, you can almost disconnect yourself from it. You know, if someone has a poorly grandmother or something, you can say, look, it's not that I don't care, it's just it's not pertinent to our relationship, which is employer-employee. You can come in, you come in. If you're unable to, then you know you're unable to. That's the thing. But you have to disconnect from it. Otherwise, people will tend to kind of start taking emotional levers, you know, and that's what you want to prevent. So I think it's, in my experience at least, anyway. You know, I have been in catering management for a little while myself, and I found it difficult, you know, very challenging. So.
Yeah, and firing people is one thing that I never I would give people benefit of the doubt. I'd give them the benefit of the doubt, and I would just do everything until it was it. And but when you had to, it's like you have to. I tried to empathize with people as much as I could.
It's a good thing that you can look at people and try and find the good in them, but you got to remember there's some people that have a lot more bad than they do good. You know.
I believe there's more good in the world than there is bad.
I do. I think, and it's outrageously, the ratio to good to bad it's like 99% good. It really is. And then you get some examples of good people just being a little bit silly, you know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really equate to being bad or anything, or you know, it's just.
I'd almost go with 90% of good and 10% of bad. I'd almost do that. Because it depends on the ratio, you know. Because
the thing is,
the biggest thing, the biggest thing I told people was, you got to do your job and respect everyone here.
Yeah.
Everyone needs respect. I said the fastest thing that'll get you fired is I see some disrespect in this place. That will get you fired probably real quick, you know. You will not probably get a second chance. I said the other deal I used to tell the guys and the girls, I said this is not a dating club.
Hey, shut up. I met my wife at Pizza Hut.
So I said, I don't care if you're dating, but you're not dating here. You know, when you work, you're here to work, you're here to work. Right. I don't want to see you up there talking to her the whole time. You know, that's the way it worked. Because I had one of my assistant managers wound up marrying a cook. You know, I shot their wedding. You know, it's like
I can imagine the scenario.
One of my drivers married her sister.
I can imagine a scenario with Donald working and he's throwing some cheese on a pizza and his prospective wife chucks a bit of cheese on the pizza and their hands bump. They make eye contact and then you've got Barry White comes over the tannoy. And the rest is history.
They had a pizza layered wedding cake.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Pepperoni in there.
I looked over and I said, girl, you're hotter than a proofing cabinet.
Yeah.
Now, does she still work in the food service industry or no?
Oh, no. My wife now, she works at a forklift center, dispatching, office managing, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Good job.
Well, yeah, that just proves that she's organized.
Oh, God, organized, yeah. Yes. And it destroys her when she meets the world because the world is not.
Sounds like you're a pair together.
Now, the very best firing that I ever heard of was my brother. because he managed a Pizza Hut too. And a girl kept on calling in, showing up late, and it was in the middle of the rush of a shift that she was supposed to be there for. She hadn't shown up, and she calls up, and it's been multiple times and talking to her and telling her, but she calls up, hey Jerry, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm stuck. And he goes, who is this? And she told him her name. He goes, oh, she doesn't work here anymore, and hung up on her. It's like, damn.
You don't work anymore.
Love it.
He said she doesn't work anymore. I fired her for being late. Like
the only one that I was, and I never really got emotional. I was usually disappointed in people, and it was just like, damn it, why did you make me have to do this? But the one person that I was just like, you're gone. We actually had the cops show up. We found out a guy who had been embezzling. He was an assistant manager, and he had been and we were working our asses off. All the crew, we were putting in long hours, and we were kicking ass, and we still made our numbers for the month, and he had been embezzling the whole damn time. Wow. It's like, you cannot imagine how good of a month we would have had if you hadn't been. So yeah, he showed up for work, and the police were waiting for him, walked up, cuffed him, perp walked him out of the building.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do sometimes.
It's like, oh, I was so angry because I trusted him.
Yeah, that's horrible when it happens. It really is. Sometimes, the people you trust as well, they say, I can't come in today, I'm terribly ill. And you can almost hear the fucking party music in the background. And it's really like someone that you think you trusted is telling you, pissing on you and saying, oh, there's terrible rain.
Well, it came down to me and a friend of mine. He was a really good friend of mine. Was one of the other assistant managers. And it was like, something came up weird, and it just didn't feel right. So it's like, let's go back through receipts.
Yep.
And we started going back through receipts. Because the wait staff were still turning in receipts. He was just marking them up. He was comping them off. And he'd take off a little bit here. He'd take off a chunk there. It's like, we started going through receipts and found where he had been doing that. And okay, let's correlate. This was this party. Do we know they paid? Yes. This one we know they paid. These people, we know there was no issue with this. They paid, and started correlating all those receipts. And it was just,
yeah, it's not good.
We had an incident with, I came in and checked the books one night, and we were about $40 off. And I said, how are we $40 off? And it was the register saying that we were short $40. So right off the bat, I get the area coach, y'all were short $40 last night. What happened? I said, it was like 42.53 or something like this. I said, I don't know. Let me double check everything. I went through everything. I said, I can't find a mistake. I said, I have no idea. Money's just gone, I said, let me look at it. I said, because we've been having issues with we just got a new system in. The next night we were $84 over. So I said, okay, how are we $42 and $84 like this? So I started writing down numbers and started keeping track of stuff. So I take the $84 and put it in the envelope and stuck it in the safe. I did not deposit it because everything balanced. This other what was happening. Everything balanced that night, but I had $80-something more in cash.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and balanced it out and deposited I just deposited the amount. The next day, we were like $42 short again. So this kept going on for about a week, and she came in and did a complete audit and everything. And I said, this envelope right here has got all that money. It's been going back and forth like this. And I said, I'm telling you, something's going on with the system. It's got a glitch in it.
And I know what it is.
And when it was all said and done, they came in and it was a glitch in the system that they found it in the software. But when it was all said and done, we were balanced out for the week. We were actually balanced out for the week, showing on the books that we were balanced. But I had like about $400 in his envelope, like that. And when we went back and double checked everything, when they found the glitch and fixed the glitch, it came up almost to the penny of what I had in that envelope. And she looked at me and she says, "You know what?" She goes, "I want to tell you something." She goes, "I don't know how many managers would have done that and not just put that in their pocket. Because we probably would have never found this glitch for years." And that's what Pizza Hut said. They said, "We didn't even see it. Nobody, it was happening to a lot of other stores, and they didn't even understand it. They were just getting shortages and overages, you know, and they couldn't figure out why it was happening." And I told them, I said, "It's got to be happening because of new software." So they went in and looked, and we put all the money in the bank. She says, and they went around and they came back with a report about a month later saying that there was about 5 stores where the managers looked like they might have pocketed the money. You know? And she told me, she said, "That's you." I said, "I'll tell you, I wasn't letting it go in the bank, and if it was a mistake, you know, because I said you didn't know if it was somebody left tips in there or somebody did this in there. So you had to make sure it was right before you give it to Pizza Hut." And I said, "That's my opinion. I wasn't giving y'all $400 of tip money if they had tip money that somehow they didn't get."
There was one time where it seemed that it was one guy. Now, whatever happened, he was either, you know, sometimes it was 120 quid up and sometimes 120 quid down. It was always kind of around the same amount, you know, and it would always work out.
Giving himself loans?
No, it wasn't that at all. It turned out that when you count the float in and out of a shift, he was counting the £20, and I worked this out without talking to him. I just walked up to him and I say, "Tell me, how much do you think is in these pound bags?" And he goes, "tenner, isn't it?" And I go, "No, it's not. It's 20 quid in these bags, by the way." He goes, "Oh, fucking hell." He'd been there for months, right? So I go, "Yeah. So when you count these in and out of your float, count them as 20s, not tenors, because it's showing up on your float stuff." And then I went back in the office, and then I just made a little note on a few of the subsequent sheets that he filled out. But it took me a while to figure out. And then I saw a correlation. The amount of pound coin bags that he was counting in and out of his floats, he was getting wrong each time. That's why it was more and it was less, and it was equaling itself out over the week, you know. But yeah, that was a strange one.
Because we had one report that would run on a weekly basis, and when we ran that report, everything I had in that envelope went back. And I said, "It's in this system. It's not picking it up on a daily." So the dailies, there's a glitch somewhere in there, and they called the technical department and told them, and I told them what was doing, and they said, "Yeah, we've seen that in a few stores." They said, "We'll let you know in the morning," and because they work 24 hours. And I got a call back that morning right off the bat when I walked in and said, "Yeah, we found it. It was a loop in the system that was picking up something twice, and it was back. It would put it in and take it out and put it back in." He said, "We changed that. See what y'all do tonight, and then we balance." So we balanced, and we balanced for like 3 days in a row. And they said, "Well, we're going to run a report, see what happens." When they ran the full report, it came out at the end of the week when it all balanced out. I had like $480 something in his envelope, and we were $486 short or something like this for the week.
Did you hear about the Horizon post office computers in the UK? All that business about the post office computers going haywire.
Yeah, we chatted quite a bit while the trial was going on the other month.
Right, yeah. There was a trial about it, and what happened is the Horizon system the post office was using was faulty. Now, the details of how faulty and why is something under contention at the moment, I guess.
That little mini-series on telly.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, some people even went to prison because they were thought to have been stealing from the post office. They weren't. It turns out the computer was giving the wrong information back to them. And they were It was all a terrible mess. Loads of people were getting into trouble, losing their jobs, whole livelihoods. It was a fucking disaster. In fact, I say we, I'm nothing to do with Joan and Sundry, but I do go on that a couple of times. And now and again, I mean, and they discussed it on there about how the Horizon system was knackered. So, yeah, it's a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, the one after I left Pizza Hut, I managed a Mazio's for a while, and I came in.
It's a Mazio's.
It's a pizza place.
Oh, okay.
And the owner, he really needed to just be the manager, but we had a guy there who was very bitter, and I had known of him. He'd worked at one of the other Pizza Huts. I never liked him. He was kind of creepy, but he thought he should have been the manager when I got hired. Well, I was only there maybe a couple months, and I left because I had, in going through stuff, I found in the safe that we were missing gift certificates. Books. It was coming up on Christmas. We had these gift certificate books, and we're missing them. And then the money, because normally money went into the bag for the gift certificates in that same bag with the gift certificates. Is how we did it. And he was selling gift certificates, pocketing the money, and then he was going to pay it back. He just was short on rent. He was just going to pay it back. And I was a new manager there. I told the owner, because it was an owner manager of the other store in town. I told him, here's what I found, and I'm going to have to fire this assistant manager because he's stealing. He's like, I talked to him, and he was just wanting to pay rent, and maybe we should just let this slide this once.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, you hired me to be a manager of your store. I caught somebody stealing, and you're going to prevent me from managing the store. It's like, okay, I knew my time was short then.
Yeah.
And I got a call from Walmart, and I said, yep, I'll go. Because I've been after that one guy that I'd caught stealing. It's like, if you steal from me, you're not part of the team.
No, ever. In fact, for me, it's
instead of stealing from me, come to me and say, hey, I'm short on rent. Could you loan me the money?
Yeah, could you loan me 50 quid or something, maybe?
Yes, may have a
but stealing is very definitively no go at all. That's a worn path. Once you wear that path, that's it. That path will be worn.
It becomes easy. It becomes easier.
Yeah, it becomes very easy to do that again.
Yeah, we had a weird one. Council. One of the guys in the finance department was embezzling money, and the way he did it was quite clever, and the way he was caught was just unfortunate for him. He was the finance person for a church charity. And what he was doing was he was paying this charity invoices from the council for supplying concrete. Bearing in mind the engineers department. And the money would get paid from the council into the charity's bank account, and he would take it straight back out again.
Yeah.
And the only reason he got caught is because he was actually away on holiday, and the charity got audited, and they're going, why is all this money coming in and going straight back out?
Right. And why? Where it's,
Yeah. And the fact that it's all council money, they then got in touch with the council and they looked into it, and he was quite high up in the finance department as far as it went. He was like a team leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the police came, took him away after he got back off his holiday. Then people realised why he could afford to go on holiday to exotic places quite so often and had a house that cost a fortune.
Seems ironic then that being on holiday is what buried him.
Yeah.
Hey, Donald, did you see what Jim's droning put in the chat?
No, I don't have the chat open. Let me look here.
He said, sorry, Don, I'll stop registering my drones in your name.
We had a woman in Abita Springs right up the road. Got arrested last year. She was part of the finance department up there, and they found out over the last like 20 years she embezzled like $1.3 million, and they picked it up because it was little bitty things she was taking each time, and they were trying to figure out what her salary, how did she afford her house and the car she drove and everything else. And somebody came in and got a little suspicious and started going back records and started finding how she was doing it. And she had it such covered up that it was hard to find. And they walked in and arrested her, and she's getting a lot of years in jail for that. But what y'all were talking about, you were talking about the if you needed money or something else, we had a tip fund, and we used to get so much tips because like I said, Mandeville's got money. I mean, it was nothing to get for the crew at night, $200 in tips, left at the register, and what we did is the tip jar was there and the managers had control of the tip jar. And what we would do, I had to verify it, or there had to be two people verify it that night, and it couldn't be counted until two people verified it, and there was a lock on it. So you had to take the tip jar. If you couldn't verify it, it got put in the safe. And the next morning, when it came in, I'd wait till another person come in and we verify it. So we verified it, and we had the tip fund that stayed in the safe, and it was used for and it was agreed upon with everybody. It was used to buy snacks and drinks for the store, and they could go in the back in the cooler and take any drink they want. I had lockers full of chips, all kind of stuff on them, and that's what they wanted. So they didn't have to steal from me. That's the way I looked at it. You're not stealing my drinks. You're not stealing my pizzas. You got chips in that people are giving you basically. And I said, and at the end of the year, whatever's in that fund will be distributed out as bonuses. And the first Christmas bonus that we gave out to everybody, like I said, I think I had 26 employees. Every employee got at least $100. Like that, the managers got like 150. That's how much we had in the tip fund that was sitting in there. And I had it to the point where if you had an issue where you needed some cash, the tip fund would lend it to you. You had to go get two managers with it, tell us what you needed it for, and it better be a serious thing. Yeah, I need it because I'm going out drinking tomorrow. No, it ain't happening. Hey, I got to pay my car note. Can I have $50? Yeah. When am I gonna get it back? You got 2 weeks to pay it back. I didn't charge you anything else. We used to have loans out of the tip jar all the time. But that's the way I ran the place. And they knew. You better have two people sign off on it. And I could tell you, if I went back on the books that night, I could tell you how much the tips were. Because people left them on, they had to put it, you could tell when tips were coming in. Because it was based on, a lot of the tips came out with, people say leave a $2 tip on it. So that didn't go in the tip jar. You had to take it out the register and put it in the tip jar. So if I had $75 in tips coming out on receipts, that means I probably have another $40 or $50 in tips coming out just in people dropping them. And that was about the average. So I could basically tell you when I just looked at the receipts tips, how much was supposed to be in the tips. So I didn't have to worry about anybody stealing it. If anybody took anything out of there, You know, somebody may have been taking $5 or this, but it wasn't with me. But I mean, it was. I remember at one point in time, we had, after buying all the stuff for the week, we had almost $2,700 sitting in a tip jar. You know, in the safe in the thing. And Pizza Hut used to say, well, if it's in the safe, it's Pizza Hut's. No, it's not. I don't have another place to keep it. And that's the best place to keep it. It's only 4 people has access. And that's where I'm going to keep it. That's what I told the managers. That's what I told the area coach and the regional coach. And she came in and she looked at me. She says, yeah, you're right. She goes, leave it right there. She goes, because, man, that's a lot of money. But I'd go once a week with one of the cooks or one of the managers or one of the drivers, and we'd run over to Winn-Dixie right down the street, and we get 10 cases of drinks. We get they put a list on what they wanted. So if they wanted chips, we get a couple of bags of assorted chips. If they wanted Little Debbie's oatmeal pies, we get 2 or 3 boxes of those, you know. And they had it made there. But it was once a week I'd restock. If you run out during the week, don't eat as much. You know, that's how I said it. But it was a long job, a busy job. But it was a lot of satisfaction when you knew you had it going right.
Mm-hmm. When you had a good crew.
Yeah, and that's the only reason it worked.
Those are parts of it that I miss.
Yeah, me too.
I like working with a team when everybody's pulling this together.
Yeah.
I just got a notification on Facebook. A guy I used to work with shooting commercials. He was driven out by management because they said he was not modern enough and holding us back, and he wasn't. They just didn't like him. But I liked the guy. He was steady, solid. You can count on him. And anyway, he moved to Kansas City and got a job at a small TV station up there, producing ads just like he always has. And he just posted some on Facebook where he just won 2nd place in like some advertising contest for an ad for their size market. And it's like, yeah, I miss working with people.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some people.
Good.
You go ahead.
No, go on.
I'm doing video production. Okay. I was gonna say, we're doing video production too. Having 2 people on a shoot, extra eyes, you get so much more out of it than you would with 2 individuals. It just.
Oh yeah.
You got somebody to spell check?
Hey, I'm good at that.
Yep.
But you know, Joe, that's something that we would always do. We would put together these commercials, and it wasn't just being on the shoot. You'd edit commercial, and before you ever sent it out to the client, you would send it to one of your other coworkers and say, "Hey, proofread this for me," because you're too close to it. Hey, look at this. See if you see anything. And they would go through. Sometimes they'd be like, "Did you notice the camera wobble at the very beginning of that shot or something?" And it wasn't usually you did this wrong. It was like, "Did you notice that?" Unless it was like an obvious misspelling. But it's like, yeah, but then you would have to justify why you did it. And if you can justify why you did it, then that helps you sell it to the client.
Also, I think that getting someone that you know to proofread some, there are times when that can be an advantage, times it can't be, and it's really down to how well you know the person. If you know someone well enough, you can be sure. If you know that someone can be brutal in their criticism, and they know they're not going to, hurt your feelings or something, and they're really only interested in the truth. You know what I mean? I would be brutal I would be as brutal as I could be, simply because it's more helpful.
Well, it depends on what somebody is wanting out of it. Somebody sends me a YouTube video and they're proud of it. And look at this here. I don't critique it. I don't, even when I see something that's, ugh. But if it's like, what do you think about this here? Okay, now you've opened that up, and then I'll make light suggestions. I won't be brutal. I still won't be brutal. But I kind of want, when I send something to somebody, I expect them to be brutal.
Yeah, I want them to be too. If I have something,
I don't want them to be. I expect them to be.
oh, I see. Yeah.
That's why it's always hard just to. I finished a spot the other day and sent it off to the client, and I'd been over it. I went, walked around the block, got fresh eyes, came back and watched it again. I'm like, all I can do is send it, and my heart sank whenever I clicked send. It was just like, they're gonna hate it. And then she came back. It's perfect. Okay. Super excited about the commercial. It's like, but I didn't have anybody to run it through before to say, hey, am I crazy or is this okay?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's opened a very interesting box of olives. Spicy black olives. The stones in.
Spicy?
Now here's the thing. I think the spicy comes from the tiniest bit of chili, but it's not the hot chili, it's just a taste of pepper. And you can hardly taste it. And that's mixed in with the oil. These also have seeds in. So these are the type of olives that are perfect on certain types of pizza.
I hate pit in olives.
Right, and here's the thing. You would think pit in olives on a pizza would be a bad idea, and it is to some degree. But what about pit in olives?
Sorry about your teeth, mate.
The traditional Italian pizza, and it really worked. It was something nice, and it was just down to the kind of the more intense olive flavor you get when you have an olive that isn't yet pitted.
The only olives I like are the ones where the pits have been taken out and they stuff a nice hot red chili inside it instead.
I like that too. It's in my heart.
Yep. My wife does not like olives at all. I can snack on them.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they're black olives or green olives. They both have a place.
I'll give you a handful of these things. But, very good. I'm not sure I'm going to get through the whole box.
So yeah, I just went onto that guy's where he posted and told him that I missed working with him, even though he was unimaginative and out of date.
So I just got a phone call, right? And it's a 225 number, which is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So it's usually like the state capitol somewhere. It could be something to do with government. And I'm waiting on something right now, still with that insurance appeal for the Medicaid part that covers my insurance. So they're paying for it right now, but they're saying that I'm still under appeal. I think they have already accepted it, but they're not telling me. So I'm thinking maybe that's them telling me they're going to have an appeal hearing, you know. So I pick it up and the guy goes, "Hello, I would like to talk to Joseph. We have looked at all your medications and you are eligible for a free glucose meter." I said, "No, I don't want it. Bye." You know, like, yeah, okay.
I must admit, I got my glucose meter free, like
I got two of them,
but it was off. What's it? Off Facebook. Then I do it on Facebook. I've got about 4 now, but this one's quite a neat little one because it's a USB one, and you just plug it into a USB block to charge it up. And
I told him I do not care. I do not want it.
Yeah. But I want one of these with the patches where you use your phone and it tells you exactly what your sugar level. But they're like 50 quid a month for the patches,
Hmm.
and they're not covered on your free prescriptions because the doctors don't like spending that kind of money on them.
Yep. Well, they gave me one when I got out the hospital the last time because they said that they brought in the dietitian, and she said, yeah, they said they wanted, did you have a glucose meter? Have you checked all of this? I said, no, I've never checked it. So she got me one, and then they called me up and sent me another one. So I've got two, and I barely use it. The only time I will use it is I'm sitting here, my blood sugar will drop, and I think I've used it in the last month twice.
You should be doing it a couple of times a day, really.
Well, everything feels comfortable, so I'm not, because it's so borderline. And that's what, because my doctor actually told me, yeah, you don't have to check your sugar's fine unless you feel it dropping. I said, well, my sugar's fine, why you keep giving me Ozempic,
Mine
Because I'm due to do the Ozempic right now, and I don't know if I want to do it.
Yeah, mine was 6.7 this morning.
So I'm gonna probably do the Ozempic this last pin, and then tell them no, I don't want to do it no more. Because now it's cost me money. It didn't cost me anything before. I think now it cost me like $100 to get it, and I'm not gonna pay $100 to get it.
Yeah, I mean the thing
until they switch me back to the other insurance.
Yeah, it's like the test strip. You have to get a new lot of test strips every month, which is covered under my my free prescriptions now. But
yeah, they sent me 2 boxes of test strips. I got test strips in there.
Yeah, they have an expiry date. I can watch it.
That's just a suggestion. No, that's just a suggested date, Joe.
It's the chemicals in the in the test strip that degrade.
I don't know. Mine does because it has. Mine's the one where you put the blood in, it goes into the unit. And those look good.
The ones I have though are darker. They don't seem to be green. They're darker, smaller, and you can't see the chili in them. It's different.
Oh, we're back on all.
Those look good, Don.
Sorry.
I don't think Don's on.
Oh.
He was showing you a thing of olives.
Oh, it was.
Oh
yeah,
no,
I'm
sorry. I was just I'm looking at a spreadsheet.
Just
Ooh,
bragging.
Yep,
Just
those are
snack
tasty.
bragging.
Do you use
I'd sit there and eat the whole thing.
I got sick and tired of doing that. I had massive spreadsheets that were like 20, 30 pages. And each page were interacted with other pages, and to write reports that pulled stuff out of there and threw it into databases. I've forgotten how to do all that now. It's been that long since I did it.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm on a Mac. You can't get into the VBA like you could and actually script some stuff up on the Mac like you could on PC. The at the old place, they would do so much stuff by hand, and I was like, you guys are doing the same work over and over and over again. There's a way to automate it. Send me what you're started with, send me what you end up with, and I will write something for you. So I don't know how many times I did that, but I figured out I was saving the company just with the spreadsheets that that they were using, it might take me, 3 days to write this thing, to figure out exactly what to do and to write it. But I was saving them hundreds of man hours.
Yeah.
A quarter.
Yeah.
It's like,
I did it for the accident black spots. So it was pulling information off speed surveys, off accident databases, off all sorts of things that we had to work out. And yeah, when you had to do it manually, you had to search through all the spreadsheets pages and find the right information and move it across to somewhere else, and and to do it automatically, all I did was press a button.
Yeah.
And it did it for me. And it cut down about 4 hours of work into about 2 minutes.
I'd like to find somebody needing that work done and just offer to do it for them. Something that I could script out that way and pocket the change, or pocket the difference of the hours.
Yeah.
But
and I wouldn't mind, but we had a computer section in our office that was quite capable of doing something like that, but nobody ever asked them to do it. So I just did it.
Yeah, it was something that I saw that I had some downtime and I saw that they were doing this stuff. I'm like, there has to be a better way. And I just volunteered to do it, to write them the thing. And every time I would make one of these things, I would give it a name. The first one start off as Frankenstein. And it would always have to be some sort of laboratory. So there's Frankenstein, there was Jekyll, there was Dexter. No, Dexter was one I built for my wife from Dexter's laboratory when she was working at the trucking place. And it was to bring in fuel reports and sort through them and apply the appropriate sales tax. What was that other one that I did? But yeah, I'd always name it after some sort of a laboratory.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a weird one with fuel. Because if your trucks are going into different states where there are different taxes.
Yep.
Depending on where they've actually bought the fuel, they were taxed all sorts of weird numbers. Yeah.
And so she was having to collate all these things by hand. It was taking her forever. And she asked if I could build her something. I'm like, sure.
So long as it has an area code for the state that it was purchased in the spreadsheet, it's relatively straightforward, I suppose.
Well, any repetitive action that you do over and over again can be automated.
Oh, yeah.
I had one that I was working on that I ended up telling them I couldn't do because they had some reports that they wanted to work on. Well, it turns out that every single place, it depended on what order you entered in the information for the client, how it would basically tab through. So if you did this first and then did the other thing first, when you were setting up the record, it would tab through in that order. It was the weirdest thing. So they would send out these reports and it's like, okay, well, they can't give me the CSV, so I'm having to go through these reports, but I can do a tab search, go through like, okay, if I have to tab 3 times to get to, say, an address, I could do that. Well, every one was coming out different. It's like, okay, if it's not consistent information coming in, I can't touch it. It looks exactly the same. They say it looks the same. Why can't you do that? It's because it's not the same. The computer does not see it as the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it involved doing 2 different lots of automation because, like, using Access and Excel, you had to write the sequence for the database to produce the information to the spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet to pull all the various stuffs into one sheet. But yeah,
that was a fun class for me when I took that when I went back to college, because I was already playing around with that stuff at work, and I took the Excel Access course, and they were like, "We're going to spend half the semester on this and half the semester on this." It's like,
I know
that was the easiest class. Easiest class. But yeah, our IT department took Access away from me.
I mean, I started working on databases on DBase back in, oh God, the early 90s, I think it was. When I started working at our office, we didn't even have computers.
Oh, that's a Camping World. I got to get rid of that. That's not one to use.
Key folks in the panel here. I bought some Old Bay seasoning this morning just for shits and giggles. What's it like?
Old Bay? It's good.
Yeah, what does it do? Someone said it was all right, so I haven't had it before.
Yeah. Old Bay is good.
You've got that problem with
you cooking up some seafood?
Didn't plan to.
People use it on fish and seafood, like fresh water.
Yeah, that's what it says here. It says for seafood, chicken, vegetables, and more. Great
So
taste
just
of
like-
1939.
Oh, this is
Old
like
Bay
a sprinkle
seasoning.
on. Okay. This
Like
is
It's
just
good on everything.
Yeah. The reason why I'm mentioning this is it's loved in the USA. So
And you put that
I
on
also
everything.
bought some.
Yeah.
Do it like a rub for a barbecue, or just
Yeah,
sprinkle-
I
I bought
would.
some caramel flavored high protein pancake mix. I don't know what was going on in my head this morning, but that's what happened.
Yeah, if you got some chicken breast.
Yeah. Chicken breast on that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Might find its way onto a chicken breast. This evening. And McKennedy American Apple Filled Caramel. How about that? They're sweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so sometimes supermarkets in the UK have these sections, right? The only bad thing about it is they tend to be rather pricey, but
Yeah.
who cares? Okay, you need once, right? So things that just look interesting, I occasionally buy them because I, well, why not?
Yeah, but most seasoning packets for everything, it says mostly it's salt, pepper, and garlic powder.
Yeah,
and then
or celery
just
salt.
something else to give you the aromatics.
Yeah, paprika.
Well, here's the ingredients for this though. It's paprika, mustard flour, celery seed, black pepper, cayenne pepper, cloves, coriander seed, nutmeg, allspice, salt, sugar, herbs, bay leaves, thyme, basil, rosemary, and savory as well. Yes, that's its own thing.
That's got everything.
Baking agents, silicon dioxide, and then
That sounds like Tony's.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jackarees.
smell.
Yeah, I got Tony's in there. I'll sprinkle it on everything.
Tony's, okay.
It was like have a little Tony's on your ice cream.
Hey, man, it works. Got to put a little caramel on there first, though.
Hey, tomato
Fucking
ketchup,
gross.
believe it or not.
Hold on, what?
Tomato ketchup on ice cream, it works.
No, it
Are you
doesn't.
fucking disgusting?
I'm done.
Yeah, relax
done.
yourself, Mark.
Don't knock it
They're
till
fucking
you.
arrested for doing that.
That explains a lot.
Oh God!
Well, they were on Fox
Tomato is a
yesterday
fruit,
had-
so it's just the same as strawberry ice cream. It's a fruit.
Oh, don't try to
tomato flavored ice cream.
don't try to connect the dots here, Donald.
No,
Oh, this
he
smells
knows not alone.
delicious.
On
container
Fox
too.
the other day, they were doing Kit Kat with
And
ketchup on it.
ketchup is mostly sugar, so
Yep.
No,
Sugar,
no.
tomato. Well, it should
Hey,
be as
Justin.
well. Good quality spirit vinegar.
What?
Yeah, that guy Joey that used to be in the Marines that had his legs blown off. That was on Fox. They gave him one. It's a Kit Kat with ketchup on it. It's a new thing going on around right now. He took a bite out of it, stood, looked at everybody, got a rag, spit it out, and started drinking water. He said, "Hell no!" He went, "Hell no!" He said, "I had my legs blown off. I'm not eating this shit."
All right,
The
yeah,
way he did it, he
apparently,
went, "Oh hell no!"
yeah, Jim, apparently the one that Steve didn't work. So.
Oh, that Sims picture.
Yeah.
Well, your graphics, Justin. That's very good. Very professional.
What happened? Why it didn't work? It was too big, too small.
I have no idea. He didn't specify. He just said it didn't work.
It could always be it didn't work because it was Tim.
Yeah,
Although he could
I
have
was
not
gonna
have
say
been.
that.
Well, the thing is like I showed yesterday on Paul's, it gives you a graph when you upload the banner, and it shows you this is what it will look like on mobile, this is what it will look like on a tablet, this is what it will look like on a PC, and then it has one, this is what it will look like on a TV. He might be reading the graph wrong and assuming that it doesn't look right. I don't know. I would have to actually try it on my own channel just to see what it looked like.
And he
I'd have
probably
to have
putting it
him-
under the wrong format.
I don't know. I would have to have him send it to me and then to go to upload it on my own channel as if I'm going to put it on my channel and then see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Some people read that little graph wrong that they give you when you go to upload it. It has these 4 different boxes and it shows you what it's going to look like on each device. So I don't know. I'd have to, like I said, I'd have to try it on my own channel just to see what it looked like on mine, and then I would know whether it worked or not. Because honestly, I could give a shit less what a damn banner looks like on a TV. Because was it like less than 2% or something YouTube had on their site? And it was like it was right under 2% of people actually watch YouTube on their TVs. Majority of it's mobile or tablets. They had it on their site where they had it all broken down in percentages, and TV was really, really small percentage. Going back to the ketchup and ice cream, I used to actually have a cousin that used to do that back in the day. I don't know if she still eats it like that, but yeah.
Ketchup and ice cream, huh?
I remember
So
my
it's a thing
cousin,
now.
my cousin Rylan that lives in San Diego used to do that when we were little.
my dad would put maple syrup in his beans.
A little bit.
Oh, that's actually normal because they have maple syrup.
I guess flavored.
yeah,
It always was kind of weird to me.
The sugar in baked beans, anyway, there is quite a lot, traditionally speaking. It's meant to be a little bit of sweetness with baked beans.
I'm talking like ham and beans. It's usually
then
more
you've got
savory.
ham in there too. Having ham in there would warrant a little bit of sweetness, maybe. It's okay. I think that you can very easily overdo it with sweetness. The only thing that I do with sweetness when it comes to, and especially Donald, if you've had experience making pizza, you know that some tomatoes that you'd get out of a can would be a little bit more acidic than others. So that's the sweetness. Now, some people think, oh, what, sticking a load of sugar in there? But you're not actually doing that. What you're doing is just counteracting you're just balancing it. That's all. So it doesn't taste sweet. It just means that it tastes non-sharp. It has a naturally sweeter taste.
Yes, and instead of adding sugar, if you have the time, if you get tomatoes out of a can, throw them into a pan and go ahead and start caramelizing them a little bit, and that can also take off some of that.
Oh, okay.
Like if you ever use like tomato puree, don't just use that out of the can. Throw it into a skillet.
Yeah.
Heat it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good idea.
That's me.
Yeah, there's some people that don't like certain ketchups because they say it tastes too sweet.
All ketchup to me tastes too sweet. If I need something to dip my fries in and I got ketchup, I look for something to mix. Like if I get ketchup and mustard or just mustard.
I actually like dipping my French fries in mayonnaise. That's good.
That's un-American. Get out.
Yeah, no.
That's
Yeah,
totally
no,
French.
American
That is a
that.
totally French thing to do. And let me guess, it's not even mayonnaise, it's Miracle Whip. Tell the truth.
Oh, he'll grow. Oh no, I hate Miracle Whip. That shit's gross. And that's not technically mayonnaise. That's
I know, that's why I
technically
said.
salad dressing is the way it's marketed technically if you read the bottle.
Yep.
It says salad dressing on it.
Put
Miracle
that
Whip
on
is gross.
coleslaw,
I hate Miracle Whip. Oh,
What's Miracle Whip anyway? Is it like faux
Nasty.
cream?
like
That's
a
what it is.
rancid tasting mayonnaise to me.
Oh, I
It's
see.
sweet.
It's meant to be savory, is it?
Sweet.
No, it's tangy.
I don't like it. I think it's gross.
It's like it's about to go bad.
That's what it tastes like to me. It
Okay.
tastes like rancid fucking mayonnaise.
My
Oh,
mother
my,
used to buy that stuff. She loved it. And I used
Yeah,
to tell her, she want a sandwich, don't put none of that crap on my sandwich.
My stepmom used to do that and she would try to put it on my sandwich and
Yeah.
I'd never eat it when she
Yeah,
did it.
Miracle Whip has a little more seasonings added into it.
A little Wang
But it's technically marketed as a salad dressing, not
Mhm.
but people use it more like mayonnaise.
Mhm.
Usually.
I personally like Miracle Whip.
I don't like it. I like regular mayonnaise.
I like regular mayonnaise too. Have you ever made mayonnaise?
A long time ago.
I made it many times. Many
I've never
times.
made it from scratch. Isn't it
And
just
hollandaise
eggs and
and
oil?
béarnaise.
Eggs and oil.
Yep. Maybe a little lemon juice or vinegar. You need to have that, but
Then reduce it to a scant. And
you're
then
basically just
do things.
absorbing oil into that yolk.
Yeah, you're creating an emulsion, and the emulsifier in this case are eggs.
hmm Yeah, the first time I made it, I was gobsmacked by how much oil was
You
absorbed.
can take. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It is quite cool.
Like, really?
There are lots of parts.
I
to
guess
it
not
that can go wrong.
absorbed, but
Emulsified with it and
suspended.
taken on, yeah.
Emulsified,
suspended.
yes. It's not even really
Suspended.
suspended. It's
Well,
emulsified
I guess
because
it's, yeah, what's suspended in what, I suppose, because at first you've got oil suspended in like a liquid, but
yeah,
where it's not,
it can't be separated
I
back
don't
out.
know. Hmm.
When it's emulsified, it can't be separated back out.
Well, it can be, but I mean,
Well, if heat, maybe.
it's stable in the form that it's in. It's stable, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you heat it, obviously if you heat mayonnaise, it'll split out, with oil and something.
And Justin, what makes the best grilled cheese sandwiches?
Mayonnaise.
Damn right.
That shit is good.
Mhm.
Well, it's just, and not to mention, it's just easier to spread than butter.
It's
Like
it's
butter
easier to
is a pain in
spread,
the
and
ass.
it's got the oil, so it fries good. The egg browns the egg in it. It helps browning. It is just perfect.
Yeah, you get one of those little baking spatulas and you can just spread it right on the bread. Boom. Yeah, butter tends to be a pain in the ass trying to spread on bread.
Wish you can clarify some butter and just brush it on, I guess. Anyway, what do I know? I don't
I mean, you
make grilled
could
cheese,
do
so I
that,
don't-
but the bread also soaks up a lot of the butter though too.
Yeah.
Butter's
That's
good.
why- That's
but-
why you buy.
That's a good point, Justin. You want it to hang on top, don't you? The butter. Well, the oil.
Get spreadable butter then that's mixed in with a little bit of oil to make it so that it's spreadable.
Also, if you mix the oil with the butter, the butter's more robust. You can heat it without it going wrong.
I started
wrong.
doing my grilled cheese with mayonnaise when Donald recommended it. I've just been doing it like that ever since.
Hmm.
It's like I said, it's easier and actually, to me, it has a better taste.
Now, Justin, you ought to, instead of just mayonnaise, you really need to try it with Miracle Whip.
No. Nope, I'm not taking that.
Our grilled cheese isn't the same as yours anyway. Yours is basically fried. I mean, when we say
You can
grill
make
it,
grilled cheese with toast.
Yes, ours is put into a pan and it's a melted. It's
Yeah. Ours is actually put underneath a heated element,
like
and
broiled.
that's what we call grilled.
Like I like doing when I make quesadillas for myself, I like to take a little cheese and then fry it on the outside of the tortilla.
Hang on, so when
A
you,
nice
I say
little
you
thin
guys,
layer.
when Americans make a grilled cheese, they do it in a pan, like a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what
We
happens?
we spread our butter on the bread, throw it in the pan, cheese in between, let it set, flip it
Got you.
So it's
Okay.
nice and browned.
back and forth until it's nice and brown and toasty, and
Or
cut
you
it in
can
half
use a
and
grilled
serve
cheese
it with
maker.
tomato soup.
Say that again.
Soup.
Cut it in half and serve it with tomato soup.
Right.
No, I
Oh,
knew
I'm sorry.
about the tomato
Chipotle
soup thing.
Tomato
Yeah, I
soup.
knew about the tomato soup thing.
I don't like tomato soup. I don't eat it with it, but yeah, that is definitely a common thing over here though.
It fits so nicely with cheese. It's a great idea. Thing is, I don't give a shit about, like ponciness and whether or not it is the thing to do. There's even a place in my heart for cheap English breakfast sausages, which people kind of look down on or I don't know. There's a certain snobbery with it, and it just fucks me off. I hate it. I hate food snobbery. Bollocks to it.
There's always a place for like a cheap thing, like the little Tostino pizzas over here.
Yeah.
They're absolute garbage, but every once in a while you just want one.
Yeah, every once in a while
Right,
we
exactly.
keep them, and every once in a while my wife's we're like, "What do you want for dinner?" Let's not fix it. I'm not really that super hungry. We all sat there for a little bit, and my wife be like, "You want a crappy pizza? Yeah, let's have a crappy pizza."
There you go.
And we'll have a crappy pizza.
And see that, for me, that's the qualification of good food. That's it. There's nothing. You don't need to mess it up with anything else. If it's
The
something
great
that you
thing-
enjoy,
You
great
could put
thing about
mayonnaise
those-
on it.
Well, the great
There
thing
you go.
about those cheap pizzas is you can actually build upon them if you want to.
yeah, you can elaborate,
want-
can't you? Put other stuff.
Yeah, you can add a little bit to it if you want.
Mayonnaise, Vegemite, put it on top. Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'd add a little bit of extra mozzarella to the top. I'd let it cook for a little bit, and then I would grab a little handful of mozzarella and then open up the oven and spread it on the top. Let it melt.
Do you still sprinkle a little Vegemite on top?
Who you asking? Because sure as hell ain't me.
Oh, you've had it before.
Fucking that shit is gross, dude. Like that's what I imagine dog shit would taste like. I don't know what dog shit tastes like, but I imagine that's what it would taste like.
Donald, have you had Vegemite?
I have not.
Although with the real saltiness of it though, too, it probably, Tim said that, like, Tim hates Vegemite too, but he did say it does work really good marinating meat, which I could see because of the real saltiness of it. It probably does do really good marinating it. I just would be hesitant to fuck up a good steak, marinating it with Vegemite and not like end up liking it. Maybe try it on like a little cheap piece of steak or something and see how it tastes. And
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on. Unless it worked, of course.
like I said, I could see it being a good marinade for steak or something because all the salt in it.
You need to send a suggestion into Google Foods. You ever watch that?
No.
Well, yeah.
He's like this
He'll marinate it for a
Mexican
month
guy
in
who
marmalade.
cooks steaks, and he's always cooking steaks different ways and experimenting, doing crazy things with steaks.
Okay.
Well, you know what blows my mind is Dominic will sit right here on a panel, and he'll sit there and spoon feed Vegemite.
Yeah, and that seems like I have never had it, but from what I understand, it's got a lot of sodium.
Yes, it's got a lot of salt in it. It's pretty much the what is it? The leftovers from the vats in the beer.
Yeah,
Beer
it's
vats or whatever.
Yeah,
Like a
but
byproduct.
Yep.
that wouldn't be
Yep.
salty on its own.
Yeah, I don't know if they like add anything to it or if it's literally just that. They scoop it out and put it in a jar and say, here. I don't know who decided to eat that one day and was like, that's fucking delicious because it smells absolutely
Yeah.
disgusting.
So the leftover yeast, they treat it with a lot of heat, and then they mix a bunch of salt with it, and that's that.
Oh, well. A bit like the
Yeah,
malt
you're right.
extract.
Used to be a byproduct that they threw away.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah, he
vitamin
does,
B,
And
JD.
somebody
right?
said, "Hey, you know what?
Hmm?
These British people are so stupid. I bet we can get them to eat this shit."
It started in the First World War when they wanted to, get this, vitamins into soldiers and stuff. That's how
Hey.
I believe it was started.
Hey, Justin, don't giggle. We drink bottled water like crazy over here. You know, Avion spelled backwards is naive.
Doctor.
That's true.
Yeah. Too much.
Well,
Very
what
posh
I've
about our
never
water
had
over here.
anybody tell me whether or not like, any of their pets, their dogs or cats, would eat Vegemite.
I know when I let Bo sniff a spoonful of it, he went and did the little growling noise, and he'd like put his lip up and he walked away. He was like, he didn't even want to try it.
I'm sorry, I've seen dogs lick their own anus. I'm not going to trust their taste buds.
Mm.
But like if a dog like puts their nose up to it, I don't know. That
Like-
means that
like
that
this-
means that smelled worse than their own ass. So
That's like this morning. I looked in the hallway. I'm walking on the hallway, and Cleo's got her face down, her ass up in the air, and Loki's got his nose right up her ass. And I said, "Why your ass up in the air for him to sniff it?"
yeah, that's just so.
to release.
I mean, that's how they figured out what foods are poisonous and not poisonous back in the day, right? Watch what the animals ate.
Yeah.
Your friends is sending the doctors some information what's going on.
So, Joe, how's the weather down there?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I can see you're contemplating going to fly.
Yes and no. I'm not in a hurry.
Oh, dude, we got a storm late last night around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was just thundering outside. Boom, boom, lightning and everything.
Wow. I'm going, look,
I mean, it was coming down hard last night.
very, 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 very long. I'm happy the way it is.
Who the hell's that talking?
I think it's
I think it's
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
It's what?
Kate's talking to. I'll mute it while she talks.
Well, I think I'm gonna call it. Call it a day.
Already?
Yeah, already, yeah.
It's only 10 o'clock.
We've been
11
11:30 yesterday.
Justin, you going live later? He's gone.
No, I'm not going live later.
Okay. I didn't know whether you joined in a game in the afternoon or. Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming in. We'll see all of you again later today. 5
We'll talk to you
p.m.
later.
time.
Okay, take it easy.
Until
Have a good day,
then,
everyone.
have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Joe.
Later.
Bye, Justin.
Later.
Bye, Donald.
Adios.
Bye, Mark. Michael already said goodbye. Bye for now.